Hey guys, so I am sitting in an empty airport gate to do this. I just told Chapter goodbye, and that is super hard to do. Made it through security, no problem. But I fly out in, I don't know, 30 to 45 minutes to start this adventure. But I wanted to, part of the point of the YouTube channel is to keep it real. To show the hard things that I go through, and this is definitely one of the hardest, and I knew it would be. You know, I am majorly family oriented, and so, you know, telling my kids goodbye, telling my parents goodbye, I knew those would be rough, but Chapter and I have been glued at the hip, inseparable except for work, for the last 3.5 months, and so to now not be able to see him every day is going to...
Terminal, you're flying on American Flight 3824 to DCA. You will be flying out of gate Alpha 2. That is American Flight 3824 to DCA. You will be flying out of gate A2.
Yeah, so this is me attempting to keep it real. I already had the, the quick breakdown, and there will be more to come, but... yeah, this is rough. You know, saying goodbye to the man that you plan to live the rest of your life with. And we knew this was coming, obviously, but it's still gonna be tough. So I'm gonna go find my gate, and Chapter just texted me back. I'm gonna go find my gate and sit down, fill my water bottle, go to the bathroom, all that good stuff, and get ready to fly out. But yeah, there is a lot of hard stuff not usually shown when you're dealing with the trail. It's all at the trail. But there is a lot of background stuff that we tend to gloss over because it's not as exciting as the trail. But anyway, so I'm gonna go find my gate. Yeah, bye. There we go. I'm scared of that. Okay. Well, the good news is I made it to Harper's Ferry. Or even to the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. Go me! Problem is, the ATC is closed. And won't open again until 9 o'clock tomorrow. So, I guess I will find a hostel tonight. I think I'm going Hideaway Hostel? Hideaway? Halfway Hideaway? Something. I don't remember. Anyway, it has been a very long day of traveling. The alarm went off at 4 o'clock this morning. Flew out of the local airport, went to Atlanta, went to Baltimore, Maryland. Got my luggage, no problem. Literally just walked up as it was coming around, so that was awesome. But somehow I tried to get on the wrong bus. Thankfully I asked the lady and she said, no, you need the other one. So I got off, and right about that time the other one came through, and I didn't even have time to get on it before it drove away. So I had to wait for the next one, which wasn't too bad. But then I had to get on a bus, or got on the bus, then I got on a train, then I got on another train, and then whoever decided to put Harper's Ferry on a hill, I really don't like them right now, because it is like a mile uphill just to get to the ATC, and then it'll be a bit going back. I've got people coming. Hang on. Saw my first dog at Harper's Ferry. Made my day. We just went past with a really cute little brindle boxer something. I don't know what it was, it was a mix. But anyway. Yeah, so I'm gonna wander on down and find my hostel. I need to charge batteries already. I only charged my phone twice and my brick's already almost dead, so I'm a little concerned about that. But it may not have had a full charge to start with, so I'm gonna get everything plugged in and see what we're looking at, and then I'll be back up here at 9 o'clock in the morning to get checked in, get my hiker tag, and then figure out where I'm going from there. My pack is heavy. Well, it's not that bad. It's like 31, but I don't have water in it, so I'm expecting it to be closer to 35, 38 at least. I'll probably end up with 2 liters of water. I haven't checked to see where the next water is. But I have a lot of food, and I did not eat nearly the snacks that I brought with me for the trip, so that's being added to it as well. But you know, at least it's less I have to buy, I guess. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Yeah, I'm not nearly as in good a shape as I thought I was climbing up that hill. I was like, oh my word. But then again, I have been sitting all day with, you know, not a lot of food or water, so that made my problem. Anyway, I'm gonna get off of here. I did at least make it, so that's a plus. Hey guys, so I made it to Harper's Ferry last night. Stayed at the halfway hideaway hostel. It was very nice. They were very kind. Would recommend. It is a little further off the trail, and we generally prefer to go, but it wasn't too bad. Wouldn't have been as bad if I hadn't just, you know, come straight from home. Coming off the trail would have been absolutely amazing, and it already was, but still. Anyway, I'm going to stop at the ATC and get checked in and get my hiker tag and do my picture and all that good jazz. And then I gotta walk down to the outfitters, unless the ATC has fuel, because of course I couldn't bring fuel on my plane. So, there is no water between here and the first shelter option. And so I am running heavy. I've got 4 liters of fuel. 4 liters of fuel. 4 liters of water on me right now, which, you know, doesn't seem too bad when you're in town, but I'm gonna be going uphill pretty soon, and that's gonna feel really, really bad. So, yeah, I know I'm dehydrated. I didn't even drink a liter yesterday, and I know I was traveling, but still, so I know I'm dehydrated to start with. I've already got an element mixed in for my drink this morning, because I know I'm gonna need it. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna make this first shelter or the second shelter. The first one is like 7 miles. The second one's like 11 or 12. Maybe it's 10. I don't know. It's in there somewhere. I honestly don't expect there to be anybody at the shelter. One of the gentlemen staying at the hostel last night is going south. And I don't know what the other 2 were doing. They never did talk to me, so I don't know what the other 2 were doing, but one's going south, and I'm going north, so I don't expect to see anybody. The first little bit I think is going to be pretty quiet until the southern people, those that started in January and February, catch up and pass me, but we'll see. It is supposed to get down to, I think it was like 39 tonight, so there is that, but it's supposed to get up to like 60 today, and it's just going to keep getting warmer through the rest of the week. I think next Wednesday there may be a chance of rain, but until then it looks like great hiking weather and not too bad for camping weather. So we'll see how that goes, but that's the plan. I've got plenty of food, plenty of water. Got to make a couple stops and I'll be hitting the trail. Well guys, I made it to the ATC. I am right there. And I have to walk. Well, there's a trail that's supposed to cut down to here, so I gotta figure out where that's at. But theoretically it should be behind me somewhere. And then I gotta walk all the way over there. And all the way along this. And then once you get off the map, once you get off the map over here, it goes up. There is no water between here and the next place. Let's see, you're around now. Okay. There is no water between here and the next place, so lots of water carry. Hopefully I will have drank at least 2 liters before I get to the up. But then again, maybe not, because I know I'll need at least 1 liter for supper and breakfast. If I stop at the first place, then there is water, but it's like down a 1/4 mile, like down from what I understand, or 1/3 of a mile. So I don't know about that. But between there and the next place, there's supposed to be a campground that has a year-round water. So I may, if I feel good when I get to the first place and think I can push on, then I'll plan to fill up water there before I get to the next shelter, because I guess the water at the next shelter is iffy. So that is my plan. I guess you guys aren't even hearing me through my headset because my headset's not on. Anyway, so yeah, that's the plan. I'm just waiting for this place to open up so I can get my tag and do all that stuff. And then I will be... Oh, that's not true. I have to go get fuel first. Okay, gotta get fuel first. Then I'll be hitting the trail. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Alright. Hey guys. So I'm 5 miles into today's 12-mile hike. What I'm hoping for. Climbed out of Harper's Ferry. Found some really nice ladies to hike with for a while. Until we got to the first section of elevation, and then they left me in the dust. They're section hiking, so I won't get to hike with them for very long, but I am hoping to stay at the same shelter as them tonight, because it would just be nice to have some ladies around, at least the first, little bit while I get used to this thing. And they're sweet, wonderful women, so that'll be cool to be able to shelter with them tonight. That being said, I've got 5 miles down. I've got, almost 7 to go. We hit the elevation coming out of Harper's Ferry. It's like 1,000 feet. And my legs went, why are we doing this again? And so I've slowed way down. There is no water until you get to the first shelter, which was 7 miles. And I could stay there tonight if my legs are just like, yeah, we're done. Then I will stay there tonight. But I'm hoping to get to the next one. And, but when you get there, it's like a steep 1/4 mile down to the water and back up again. And if I can avoid that, that's fine. As well as I may go on to the next one, and I guess the next one doesn't have a reliable water. So needless to say, I started out carrying 4 liters of water, and then I stopped at the Outfitters, and I realized I only had 1 water bottle. And if my water bottle, springs a leak of some sort, I'm done. I mean, I can drink straight out of the filter, so I'm not going to be done. But I won't be able to do any mixed drinks or anything like that because I won't have a bottle to put it in. So I went ahead and bought another one. I bought my fuel. They also had a hiker box, and I grabbed another thing of mashed potatoes because I didn't have a lot. So I went ahead and grabbed another one of those, and they had hot chocolate packets. I don't know who left those in there, but it's supposed to get cold tonight, and that just sounded like an amazing treat. So hopefully I'll get there soon enough that I feel like making myself hot chocolate before I go to bed. So I did pick up 2 of those, and somebody had left a brand new in the box, I don't know what it's called, but it's basically a camp towel, a microfiber camp towel. And I have this guy, but he's going to be more for like wiping the sweat off me and the tent and that sort of thing. And so having one that I can use primarily to keep myself clean would be kind of nice. Will I ditch it and send it home later if I don't use it? Probably. But at this point, it's not that much. Oh, the wind just reminded me that I did one other thing today I hadn't updated you about. Turn around. I got my hiker tag. So I am the 39th hiker to check in at the ATC in Harper's Ferry doing a flip-flop. So I guess the way they do it is they count how many are going north. Well, none of them would be going northbound from there as far as through hikers. But yeah, so how does that work? They'd all be flip-floppers at this point. Well, no, I guess not. If they started it down below, they could be going all the way through. Anyway, I'm the 39th flip-flopper to start, to sign in. I guess not necessarily to start, but to sign in at the ATC. So, a lot lower number than I was expecting. I don't know if it matters, honestly. If I had started at Springer, it would be a lot higher, because I know there's a lot more people that have started there. But yeah, so I get to be number 39, I guess. I don't know if that's cool or not, but I haven't found any more thru hikers headed my direction, but again, I'm super slow. And so unless I catch them at the shelter, I'm not likely to keep up with anybody. But I did need, I got, I don't know, maybe halfway up this 1,000 feet elevation climb here. Waverly Cliffs are supposed to be up just over the ridge. And I probably should have pushed on for that, but my body was like, you need a break. So I listened. I've got snacks left over that my mom made, that I'm snacking on those, finishing up the liter of water that I've been using for the last 5 miles. Yeah, not doing good keeping up with the water. And I will refill that with some more electrolytes. If for no other reason than to get it drunk, because I'm carrying it. And so I ended up with 5 liters of water starting this climb, and yeah, I definitely am overloaded on the water, but seeing as to how I don't know what water is going to be at the shelter, we'll just keep carrying it. But yeah, I guess that's it. That's the update for now. I'm hoping to do another 7 from here. Done 5, hoping to do another 7. I think sundown somewhere around 7-ish. Or somewhere around 8-ish. But if I can get in at 7, then I can set up either hoping to sleep in the shelter tonight. So I can set that up and cook before it gets dark. So that's my plan. I know that means I have to keep going, but I needed this break. And so essentially if I plan to get there by 7, yeah, it's like 12:30 or 1 o'clock or something like that. So I've got 6 hours to do 7 miles. So I'll get it. Once I get up, and then I'm just basically ridge walking up and down the ridge edges, I should be fine. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'll give you an update when I got one. Doubt you can see it, but there is a doe wandering through the woods up there. I don't know that you're going to be able to see it now because it went behind some stuff. But I'm sure it saw me and it was not worried. But it is slowly moving off the trail, so I'll give it a few minutes before I pass. Just to keep from startling it. Because there's no point in scaring it if I don't have to. That is the AT. That was the trail I just came up with from the shelter. Morning, guys. So it is 8:30. I was hoping to get out of the shelter by 8, and that obviously didn't happen, but I didn't set an alarm either, so I'm not too upset my first day out that it took me an hour and 20 minutes instead of an hour like I was hoping for. So that's not too bad for the first day out. Figuring out what I can do when. Like, I could have started the water to boil and then put my camp stuff away, that kind of thing. And I'll get better at that, so I'm not too worried about it. Last night I stayed at Crampton Gap Shelter. There was enough space for probably 5 of us, but it was just myself and 2 amazing section hiking ladies that have kind of taken me under their wing. They hike faster than I do, and they seem to be in better shape than I do, so that's sweet. But I guess I have more knowledge, I would say, of the different trail specific things. How shelters work and bear boxes and the app, and that you should sleep with your filter when it gets down below 40 and that kind of stuff. So, and that you can use your camp towel to dry off your tent in the morning. Little things like that the knowledge is helpful. So I feel like I'm contributing a little bit to them sharing their campsite with me. But it is a little humbling when ladies that are old enough to be your mother are definitely hiking faster than you. But that's alright. I'll get there. Or I just won't. I'm a slow hiker, and that's okay. I can go the distance. I just can't do it fast. So, I've got 12 and a half miles to go today. Is the plan, I think. We skip one shelter and go to the next. the first one's only 5 miles, so that's nowhere near enough for the miles that I'm trying to, the goal I set for the week, the first week. So we're gonna skip one and go to the next one. The ladies are also going there, so that'll be sweet. I'm hoping to get there early enough to get a shelter spot, because not having to deal with a wet tent this morning was great. And I will do that as much as I can, because it really does make it so much nicer not having to put the tent up and take it back down again. Also spent a lot of time last night on gut hooks and far out and the AWOL guide, trying to figure out where my next resupply needed to be. I have a lot of food, but I don't think I'm eating enough, or at least I don't think I did yesterday. And so I'm, just wanted to know where my resupply point was, so I know if I could eat extra food. And it looks like I can. I wanted to go 5 days before hitting a resupply, but there isn't a good place to get out on day 5. It would have to be day 6. And I don't really want to stretch my food another day if I don't have to. So I'm going to go ahead and get out for a resupply on day 4. It won't be a 0 because I can't afford one of those yet, but it will end up being a Nero. And I can't remember exactly how many miles. But I found a place, but I haven't contacted them yet to see if they will have room. And I need to figure out where exactly they are, as to whether they shuttle from the trail or whether I need to get a shuttle, and whether they'll shuttle to town, or whether I need to get, have the shuttle take me to town first before I get to them. But so a few more logistics, but I'll probably wait till tomorrow to set all that up. That way I can give them a, how fast I'm going, a rough idea of when they'll want to be ready to pick me up. So, yeah. So that means I can eat plenty of food. I will still have some left over even if I eat plenty. So I'm good with that. Water today is in 5 miles. And so I can do that on 2 liters. I don't think it's too bad of elevation. I haven't looked at that real far, but I think it's like 1,000 over 12 miles or something like that. So I don't think there's too many big ups like we did yesterday. I still hate ups. I do not do well with ups. I can go down all day long, but going uphill. But, so that's the goal. 12.5 overall, 5 to the first water source, and then I think it's like 4 miles to the next, and then into camp. So I won't have to carry more than 2 liters, which will be nice after yesterday's 5 liters. So, which I filled up exactly in my liter, or in my water bottles today, was exactly enough to get me started today. So I haven't had to filter yet, which doesn't bother me, but it kind of means I had at least 2.5 liters too much by the time I got to camp, because the goal, if you know that there's water there, is to get to camp with like at least a half a liter. But no more than that, because if there's water there, there's no point carrying it. And there is confirmed water at the 5 mile mark and at the shelter tonight. At least there was in the last week. So it is foggy out here. It is cold. What does my temperature say it is? It says that it's about 43, and it definitely feels about 43. I did break a sweat coming up from the shelter, but I know that'll dissipate here pretty quickly. So I'm gonna try to get a little faster on the miles today and see what kind of shape I'm in when I get there. I didn't sleep very good last night. I slept great. I woke up and had to go pee, looked at my watch, an hour. 1 hour. And I had to get and go potty. I was like, are you serious? So then it was kind of off and on. The ladies and I kind of took turns rolling over and shaking our air mattresses and getting up to go pee. And we just kind of, I think, sort of kept each other awake all night. And then about 4:30, I was getting pretty cold. Well, I was getting hot under my blanket, cold out of the blanket. So one of the times I got up to go to the bathroom, I went ahead and grabbed my hat out of my backpack and put it on, and then let a little bit of air out of my pad. I think I let too much out because I was pretty much sleeping on the ground when I got up this morning. So I think I let too much out, but between those two things, I was able to conk back out again for about 2.5 hours. So not the best sleep, but I did get some, and I will get better at that as time goes on, figuring out the pad and the sleeping bag and what all works together the best. So not too worried about it right now. Hopefully we'll crash out tonight and catch up on some sleep. But yay, another up. Okay, I'll let you go. Here we go. Yeah, so Maryland is not unrocky. So I managed to make it to the top of the ridge walk. I haven't really looked at far out to see elevation, but I am on top of the ridge. It is still very foggy out there. It's clearing up top, but there's not a whole lot up here except for dead stuff. Dead trees. I mean, there's new growth coming up on the bottom, but so I've made it 2.5 miles from the shelter that I stayed at last night. I've got about 2.5 to 3 to go to the next shelter that has water. So that is my next stopping point. I may take a pack off break at the moment, but at the moment I'm feeling good. So I'll keep going until my body says I need one. Once I take a break, I tend to slow down a little bit. So I am not drinking nearly enough water. I should have already drank a liter by now, and I haven't even drank barely a quarter. So I do need to work on that for sure. But I did start out with an element this morning because I know I didn't drink enough yesterday either. So I'll probably just start with an element every morning and then switch to a liquid IV in the next one, and then finish the day with Propels is kind of my thinking. We'll see if that switches, changes things up, but for now that seems like a good start. But yeah, the trail is not flat. Well, it's flat as far as elevation. It's not too bad, but it is definitely rocky, so you have to pay attention to what you're doing. But yeah, all right, here we go. Hey guys. So I made it to, what's the name of the shelter? Rocky something. I'm not staying here. This was just 5 miles in, but it was a good spot to take a pack off break, which I hadn't had yet. And put my feet up for a little bit. Right now they're tingling, but that's okay. They've been well used already. It was a little bit of up and a lot of down, which tells me that most likely we're going up again. So I need to look and see what my up looks like, but I've got essentially 7.5 miles left to do today. It is 11:30. I plan to leave here at noon. Give myself a good pack off break because I'm really bad about taking them. I'll probably get ready, 11:50, run back up to use the Ferry, that kind of thing. There is water somewhere around here. I have only drank half a liter in 5 miles, so I'm gonna make myself finish this up. And then go down and get more. I think in like 2 or 4 miles there's another place to get water, so I'm not going to worry about cameling up necessarily or putting anything in my bag. I'll just carry the 2 liters in the bottles. So, but I do want to make sure that I have another electrolyte mixed up and ready to go. Yeah, I gotta look and see what's coming up ahead, and I'll do that while I sit here and eat my cheese stick and my energy bars, bitey things that Mom made me that I'm still working on. They've lasted quite some time, and they are awesome, and I will miss them when they're gone, because I don't know about the little tiny sesame seeds. Those get kind of annoying, but the rest of it is amazing, and it's all really good, healthy stuff. So, energy bar bite things, and I have a little bit of trail mix, peanut butter chocolate trail mix that I figure is probably not going to last too much longer, seeing as how it's getting hot out here. So, I'm going to go ahead and finish that up before it starts melting and making a mess in my pack. But that's what I've got. That's what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and eat and rest, look at the schedule. And yeah, 7.5 miles and probably some up. So that's where we're at. Okay, so I just left the shelter I was lunching at. I was right. It's going to be about 1,200 feet of elevation gain in the next 7.5 miles. One of them being like 800 miles of up in one stretch. So I'm not looking forward to that. I may have to listen to some music. I've been kind of trying to avoid it, but I'm also dreading that 800 feet up. So we'll see how I feel when I get there. I won't use it until I get there. But yeah, I am back on the trail. I have 7.5 miles to go. It's like 1,200 feet of up overall, and then it's like 1,000 feet of down. So, which down doesn't, I mean, it slows me down a little bit, but it's not hard. It just slows me down a little bit. Versus up, just, oh, it kills me. But we shall trek on, and now that I've left the shelter, I am committed to the next one. Because Maryland only lets you camp in designated spots. Now, I could camp at Dahlonega backcountry camp or something like that. I could camp there, but that's right before the up and down, and I kind of want to get that over with today. I don't know if that's a good idea, because my body's already like, why are we doing this again? It doesn't hurt, it's just wore out. But, I mean, it's never going to get better if I don't push it, right? Yeah, I gotta psych myself up for this. It's alright, I got this. It's just one foot in front of the other. I have 2 liters of water. There is water at Dahlonega. So if I drink it all coming up the first, I don't know, whatever the first little bit is, that's okay. Because I do have more. I finished up the liquid IV with my lunch. And I finished up the element with my lunch. And I put in a liquid IV. And I kind of hope to have that done by the time I get to the Dahlonega Park, which I think is in 2 miles. It's got a little bit of an up, which I'm kind of working on now, and then a little bit of down. So that's the goal. I know I need to drink a lot more, and that would probably help with the exhaustion of going uphill. So yeah, we'll do this thing. I swear, they always do a hill, a rotten one, the last mile of the day. Oh my goodness. But once I get past this one, I think I'm only about a mile. But really, we had nice paths. And then we got to this. Oh well, it is what it is. Looky! More elevation. Look. Somehow I managed to walk through a political rally, I guess would be the right way to say that, on the US 70 bridge. Something or other about stop, wash, ice camp or something. I don't know. I didn't understand it all. I just kind of kept walking. But that it explained all of the honking. I was like, please tell me I don't have to cross this road. And then I get up there and there's a bridge. So I did not have to cross the road. Or on the road. But yes. Now I have this. And I'm not sure how much further I should be going. I would think less than half a mile. But we shall see. Onward and forward. Here we go. So I've got 2.5 miles to go to the first shelter where I'm going to stop and eat lunch. I may stay there depending on how my feet feel. Or I could push on another 7.5 miles. I was seriously considering pushing on because my feet were feeling really good after, about 5.5 miles. And then I got to this. And I've been doing this for maybe quarter mile. And my feet are like, yeah, I don't know about this at all. So we'll see. I may go ahead and quit at 8 miles. Or I may push on. We'll see how my feet feel. But if this is what the trail's like between here and then, or the next shelter and here, I ain't gonna make it. So we'll see. But yeah, funness. Hey guys. So I realized that I haven't done a video at all today. And I don't think I even did one the second half of yesterday. So let me see if I can catch you up. Yesterday I went roughly 12.5 miles to Pine Knob Shelter. It was just long. I don't think it was necessary. Well, there was one section in there that I wasn't sure I was going to make it, but, well, I knew I was going to make it, but there was a couple of ups that were a little longer than I would have preferred, a little steeper than I would have preferred. So I was ready to see camp when I got there. The ladies I was with mentioned that there was a group in the shelter, that they were using the shelter as a meeting, and that it was full, and they were setting up tents. So I went ahead and set up a tent, and then afterwards, when I went to get water, I walked past the shelter, and there was one guy in it, and I went, I could have used the shelter, but that's okay. The tent, I did learn a few things about my tent. 1, I still do not stake it out right. 2, if you put it, the poles, the length that they're supposed to be, it is basically 2 across one way, so I need to make sure I have enough space 2 across that way, and it's about 2.5 the other way, so that I make sure that I have enough space when I'm actually laying out my tarp, or the tent, tarp, whatever, so that I don't do like I did last night, and I ended up between a tree on one side and a log and a stump on the other, so I couldn't pull the other side all the way out without redoing the whole thing, and I was too lazy to do that. Would have been better, but it wasn't supposed to rain, so I wasn't too worried about it. It did rain last night. It just sprinkled, so it wasn't bad. It sprinkled for a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. And because I had gone ahead and put the guy line out on the one side that wasn't staked right, it was enough to keep it away from the tent, and I didn't have any leakage issues. The bag that my water filter was in, that sprung a leak, and so my brain was wet. And so was my first aid kit, even though I thought those were waterproof bags, but now I'm questioning if they are, because it sure felt wet. But anyway, yeah, there's that. They are, what else? Oh, I noticed when I was either putting it up or taking it down, that my tent bag has holes in it already. Because I have it attached to the outside of my pack. Apparently when I put my pack down, I dragged it or something, and there's 2 different holes in it. I just hope that it didn't get through to the tent. I didn't see any holes last night, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Next opportunity I get, I will look for a stuff sack or a compression sack that's a little heavier duty. I know it's going to add weight, but I need something that's not going to be shredding. So there's that. Hello. Let's see. This morning I had quiche, homemade from Mom, and it was amazing. 10 out of 10 would recommend having my mother send you food. She is a good cook. That being said, we did have Mexican cornbread for lunch, and it was not amazing. I told her I didn't want any more of that. One, I'm not big on Mexican cornbread to start with, and it was just really heavy on the cornbread and not enough on the vegetables, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what, it was missing something, and maybe just adding some salt to it would have been enough. But I'm really good at over salting, and I just didn't want to dig my salt out. I have it. I just haven't used any of my seasoning yet. Mainly because everything has been seasoned well, except for the Mexican cornbread. So yeah, I told her I didn't want any more of that. But the rest of the food has been great. I had biscuits and gravy, spaghetti and meatballs, quiche, biscuits and gravy, spaghetti and meatballs. What did I have the first night? Whatever it was amazing. Broccoli and rice casserole, I think. It was great. And I'm not really big on rice, but it was good. Definitely taking that again. So yeah, the food has been really good, with the exception of Mexican cornbread. I haven't been eating the snacks that I should have been. My idea was just to eat snacks for lunch instead of making food. And I will probably stick with that, but I haven't been eating enough. I left the shelter this morning. Which one was it? Pine Knob Shelter this morning about 8:15ish. And I got to, what's the name of this one? Ensign Cowl Shelter or something like that. Anyway, it's like 8.3. About 12:30, 12:15, 12:30. So 4 hours to do 4 miles, or 8 miles. So really it wasn't that bad as far as timing goes. What was surprising, I guess, to me was that right off the bat, there was an uphill. It wasn't horrible, but it was definitely an uphill. Like logs across for steps and, an uphill climb. And I felt good. I stopped a little over halfway and took a few seconds of breath. Took a little bit of a break there. And then I was definitely puffing when I got to the top. And was talking to 3 other flip-flop through hikers that started roughly the same time I did. And all of them are supposed to be coming here tonight. So, and that'll be cool. I'll get a chance to get to know them a little bit better. Hopefully they'll stay in the shelter because this is a really good sized shelter and it is really cold out here and I would definitely appreciate some extra body heat to keep this thing warm. I would stay in my tent and that might be a little bit warmer, but it takes that much longer. I think I got out of camp an hour and 20 minutes the first day and it took me, I got up about 6:30 and I left at 8:15, so that's actually less, but that can't be right. Yeah, that'd be almost 2 hours. Yeah, an hour and 45 minutes, that's about right. So it took me longer because I had to take the tent down. And so being able to just throw stuff in the bag, cook my food. The hardest part, well, let me rephrase that. I refigured how I had my bag, and I think that helped a little bit today. I had my food at the bottom, and then everything piled in on top of that. But this morning, I put I'm also trying to figure out how to lose weight. You know. So I put my sleeping pad in my pillow at the bottom, and then put the sleeping bag in there, because theoretically the food would help compress the sleeping bag and it would all be smaller. It was still in its bag, but still. And then I put the food next. And I have gotten down in food enough that my food kit fits in my food bag now. It doesn't fit well, but it does fit in the food bag. I think I have squished my pot, and because my lid doesn't actually fit on the pot right now, so I'm not sure how I managed that. But yeah, my pot is a little on the squish side. But that made like sleeping bag layer, food layer, which crushed that down, and then I just piled everything else up on top of it. So it seemed like it got smaller, and I think it carried better. And so I'll do that again. That does make it a little bit more difficult to get the food, but I pulled what snacks I thought I was going to eat and put them in my fanny pack, which I started hooked around my waist like an actual fanny pack. That was uncomfortable. The straps were rubbing on, or were pinching on my pants and causing issues back home. And so I then had it hooked around the chest straps down below, and it just kind of hung in front of me, and that worked, but every time you took it off, you had to dig it anyway. When I got to Harper's Ferry and I put my bag together, I managed to hang it over my umbrella, and I managed to get the strap above it unintentionally, but it rode really well that way. And it's like right on my side. It's like an extra hip pocket almost, and I could just reach back, grab it, pull it forward, get what I need out of it, and slide it back. And so it really accidentally ended up in a great spot. And so I will continue to do that. Because it just worked. Yeah. What was I doing? Anyway, I felt strong all day. I did end up with a rock scramble about mile 6. Maybe it's mile 5. And that really slowed me down. Like, I thought I was doing really good before that. But that really slowed me down. And then it was like up and over this mountain and then down. The last mile was like 500, 600 feet of elevation drop. And it was pretty much straight down. I got here about 12:30ish, 12:15ish, which timing was, I did little over 8 miles in a little over 4 hours. So timing, it really, really wasn't bad. I really thought about pushing on to the next shelter, which was 5 miles. But when I pulled my socks off, it looks like I may have a couple blisters starting in the bottom. And the next 5 miles has like, I don't know, it was like 1,200 feet of elevation gain or something in just 5 miles. And when you looked at the map, it was like up and down and up and down and up and down. And I just went, I don't know that I've got that much elevation gain left in me today. I have food for a couple more days. That's not the thing. And I probably have enough power that I could get through Monday night, maybe Tuesday morning if I pushed it. But I had already thought about getting off trail because the ladies that I've been, sort of hiking with, at least staying in the shelters tonight, they're getting off trail. They're going home. They were just section hikers, so it was their time. But I just didn't feel like being out here by myself. So, and I had miscalculated some stuff and thought that I needed to get off trail Sunday. I didn't. I could have made it till Monday, but I went ahead and contacted somebody last night and they hadn't responded. So I contacted somebody else this morning. They did respond, but the response was very vague and did not tell me anything that I actually needed to know. And so I haven't responded back to them. But then the first person responded and we've made arrangements that I'm going to go stay at that place tomorrow night. So it'll be my first hostel while on trail, my first expenses while on trail. And so the financial balancing game begins. I do need to spend some time today, look ahead and see when my next resupply will be. So I know how much food I need to get and how much food I have, so that I know how far I want to go and what the weather's going to be like. Because I vaguely remember it's supposed to rain Saturday, and I don't like rain. So if I can time a resupply or a zero with rain, that so I don't have to be in the rain hiking, that's what I will do. So I need to look and see where the rain is, and that'll also help determine where. But that's next Saturday. That's the whole week out. So I'd have to carry 6 days worth of food. So probably not going to do that. But, you know, all those things play a factor. But yeah. So that's, I'm hanging out in the shelter, hoping somebody else shows up soon. Because I'm getting bored working, just talking to my camera. Trying to give you an update. Chapter is also out hiking today. He did 11.5 miles and then took lunch, and he was going to hike back. I think water at the trail that he's on at home is like another 3.5 miles back to water. So he said he was going to hike back to there because he needed water, and then he would see if he was just going to hike on out and go home, or if he was going to stay tonight. He was going to look at the weather and see if it was raining too. So I'm not sure which way he planned to go. I hadn't talked to him for a little bit. But now that I'm getting off trail earlier, I have plenty of power, and so I can video call him at some point this afternoon once he gets my text and decides to call. So that's the update. First hostel stay. I need a shower. So yeah, that's where we're at. Okay. Morning, guys. It's like 7-something-ish. I haven't actually looked on Sunday morning, and already I have climbed up a rocky hill, walked through a pasture, shining, and now I have an obstacle course. I probably don't have to walk on the obstacle course. It's not that muddy this time of year, but it's kind of something different. It's kind of cool. So I'm gonna walk on the obstacle course. I don't remember. I think I did an update video in the shelter last night, so you should know all about yesterday. I didn't sleep that great again. Crashed out by 8. Woke up at 10, rolled back over, went to sleep. Got up at like 1:30 and went pee. Couldn't go back to sleep. Finally fell back asleep about 4, and then body woke up as either I woke up at 6:02 or somebody else's alarm went off, but I don't remember hearing an alarm, so I think I woke up. And the other people that wanted to leave at the same time I did, they wanted to be out of the shelter by 7, and so I wasn't worried about making noise, so I just got up and got moving, and they were right behind me. I actually managed to get out at 6:39, so like less than 40 minutes, but I also didn't eat breakfast. I ate a cheese stick, and I'll eat a lot more snacks today than I did yesterday. And then when I get to Raven Rock Shelter, which is in like 5 miles, I'll stop and eat breakfast there. Late lunch, whatever you want to call it. Looks like I now get a road crossing. So it's been a diverse morning already, and I think I've only gone like a mile, if that. And so that's kind of cool. A little bit of a road walk. Nobody's coming. Now's a good time to run. Okay. A road crossing, not a road walk. And another little field. This one's just kind of a right away. The other one was literally a wide open field, but it is cold. It's like 45, 43. I think I'm gonna, if I find a good place to park, not park, but take my pack off, I will pull out my buff, my neck gaiter, because that wind is a little much even with the sun. But with the long sleeve mid layer, I'm afraid it's going to be too hot and I'm going to be sweating, and that's not going to be good either. So
kind of have to work on temperature regulation. Speaking of which, the wind is blowing and my hand is cold. So I'm going to put my phone back away and put my glove back on. We'll see what today brings. Hey guys, so it is, I'm gonna look this time, 9 o'clock. I left the shelter a little before 7. So 2 hours of hiking. I've done, I don't know, little over 4 miles. So basic timing for me. There's this 600 foot of elevation climb. Here, let me turn you around. Yeah, that. I've already done 200 of it. It's a switchback type thing with rocks and scramble things. And I'm pretty sure I have to go up there somewhere. So, yeah, that's gonna be fun. I've already done 200, so a third done. Woo, go me. And this is the stuff that super slows me down. But I was walking up the hill and I thought, you know, I was getting in my head because I'm so slow at this. I hate hills. And I thought I heard something. I looked up. The Lord provided a beautiful waterfall to cheer me up. I was like, aw, that is so sweet. No, I don't know how I'm going to get water from it. I don't need water. Because again, I'm not drinking nearly enough. I've gone 4 miles and I haven't even drank half a liter yet. So yeah, typical me dehydrating myself. But still, isn't it beautiful? It's so pretty. So I thought I would share. Hey guys, so I think I've got like another 3.5 miles to go, something like that, until I get to Penmar Park. But since I'm running 1.5 to 2 hours early for my shuttle, I saw a high rock overlook, I think, and it was only 0.1 there and then 0.1 back. And I thought, you know, I haven't looked at any overlooks in the last couple of days because I've just been miles. And so I decided to go ahead and go up there and took some video and took a selfie. But there was a couple families up there, and I didn't want to bother them, so I didn't video and I didn't stay long. And then, yeah, I did 5 miles to the shelter. And that was okay. Well, the last mile was brutal, but this is where I'm going. And then the next mile up to that last mile before the shelter was brutal because it was like, I don't know, 600 feet of straight up or something stupid like that. And then I stopped at the shelter, used the privy, got a snack, but I'm dragging now. I know a lot of it is because I'm dehydrated. I have another liter with me, and I was actually going to switch it out up there at High Point, but there was people there and I didn't mess with it. So at some point I'm going to have to switch it out, and I need to put some element in it. I don't think I've had electrolytes really for the last week or last day. So I know that's what my problem is. As soon as I get some electrolytes back in me, I'll perk up and be good to go. I also haven't eaten enough good food, but I'm just not really hungry. I eat a snack when I feel like it, and I eat supper at night, no problem. But I knew I had a rough day and a distinct time schedule today, and so I didn't eat breakfast. I just grabbed a snack and went, and I think that's kind of a little bit to my detriment at this point. And then I was going to go ahead and make it at the shelter that I stopped at, but I didn't feel like digging everything out of my pack. So I just ate a couple more snacks and then left. I did take a pack off, but it wasn't very long. And I'm kind of regretting that as well. So I know what my problem is. I know what I need to do to fix it. I'm just too stubborn to actually do it. Because I am very goal oriented. I've got 10 miles to do today, and I have to do it before 3 o'clock. And so my brain says, do the goal first and then take care of everything else. And so it's, my brain and my body are fighting at this point, but they'll figure it out. And this is only day 4, which at the end of day 4, I will have done over 40 miles. It's like 41 or something like that. So I kind of wanted to start somewhere between 10 and 12 miles a day for an average, and I'm averaging 10, so I'm okay with that. I got people coming. We're gonna keep going. So it's not very often that I'm stumped as to where the trail is, but I am definitely stumped because that's the blaze, so I know I'm supposed to be coming down this direction. And I came down there because that's where it says it is, I guess. So it's just straight up a rock scramble. All right. Fun. Here we go. Yeah, I'm not at all sure where the trail was supposed to be up that. You can see a little bit of it here, but once it turns that corner, it is a rock scramble to the top. And you can't tell where the trail's supposed to be if it wasn't for the blazes, which are, fairly well marked. This direction, not as well coming the other way. Yeah, I'd have been lost. As it is, I'm assuming the trail goes that way. Yeah. It's like 5 miles of rock scramble. I think my time slowed from like 2 miles an hour to like half a mile an hour. Goodness gracious. If Pennsylvania is worse than this, yeah, I'm cooked. I got 2 miles to go, 300 up, which it looks like I just found maybe, and then 300 down. I don't know. Today's kicking my butt. Goodness. Morning, guys. It is Monday morning, I believe. Spent my first night in the hostel. It was great. Would recommend the Sunflower Cottage. And Rockies around the corner it took a while to get the food, but the food was good. I just got back on trail. It looks like it's gonna rain at some point today, so I did go ahead and get myself set up for rain. There's so much stuff on the outside of my pack that my pack cover won't actually fit around everything, so we're just gonna do the best we can. But yeah, there's that. But the other thing is this. I am now officially in Pennsylvania. I have 1 down and 13 to go for this hike. If I end up not getting to do this all as a through hike, then I will and end up being what I now know is a myth hiker, a multi-year through hiker. I didn't know that was a thing till yesterday, and I'm cool with being a myth hiker if that's the way it ends up working. So if I can't through it this year and I end up having to come back at later times to finish it up, then I will count Georgia as being completed for my myth. But if I do get the chance to through hike it, I will try and do Georgia again. So it'll just kind of depend. But yeah, I don't have to be a through hiker. If it doesn't work out, I can still be a mythic hiker, as my husband said it yesterday. So yeah, that's kind of, I know it's just a thing. It's just putting a label on doing it in sections, but it still kind of gave me a little bit of a relief that it is a thing, I guess, and there's nothing wrong with doing it that way. So we'll see how it goes. I'm still going to try for a through, but if not, I will definitely be a mythic hiker, because I am going to do the whole trail. It just may not be in one calendar year based on things going on at home. So we will see what happens. And for now, I've got about 8 miles to go, and it looks like I'm going to get rained on. So it is nice and warm out here. What does the thingy say it is? It is 60. It feels a lot warmer than that, but there is definitely a storm coming in, or at least rain. So I'm gonna get going. The further I hike before I get wet, the happier I will be. So I'm gonna get going. All right. Hey guys, one other thing that I forgot to mention. I did do a bit of a resupply yesterday. I really didn't need to, so I don't know why I did, but I did go ahead and do so. Where am I going? I'm guessing across the way. We're gonna hope it's across the way, because I don't see any white slides. Anyway, walking across the road. Still in Penmar, or whatever town this is. But anyway, I did do a resupply here. I only needed like a couple of suppers, and then I went ahead and got some liquid IV. They didn't have the elements in the grocery store that she took me to, but I did get some liquid IV, so that's good. I think I'm gonna not do the Propel, because I don't think it does enough for hiking out here. I mean, it's a nice flavored water, or, you know, for town walks or whatever, but for actual hiking, I need more than that. So I'm gonna stick with the liquid IV and the element when I can, because I do find that I need a little bit more. And I got 4 suppers instead of 3, and I might have picked up some cookies, because, you know, you gotta have cookies, right? And I might have picked up some M&Ms, because some of those hills just need M&Ms, and a girl needs chocolate every now and then. So I did get a few more things that I needed, and then I went to Rockies for supper last night. Had a great eggplant parmesan hot sub. It was huge. I barely finished it. And then I bought a sub out for today, a cold sub, and they packed it full. Whenever I get to a shelter and feel like eating lunch, I hope it's got a stream nearby, because it is going to be a mess. My hostess was nice enough to let me use some saran wrap to wrap it up so that it wouldn't get all over my pack, and I put it in the Ziploc bag. On top of that, Chapter and I learned that the hard way, that Subway wrapping is not waterproof, and it will get all over your bag. Thankfully it was Chapter's, not mine, but still. And so, yeah, I learned the hard way, put it in a Ziploc bag if you're gonna have a sandwich. But yeah, so I will eat that for lunch and maybe supper, because it is a big sub, and which means that I have even more food than I need. And yes, this pack feels very, very heavy, pretty much from about the time I started out. So I'm guessing I'm somewhere close to 40 pounds again. But my plan is to do 5 days and walk into Boiling Springs. I don't know if it's gonna happen. It may end up being 6 days, depending on which, you know, shelters I plan to stay at. I can't remember the mileage every day. But the tentative plan is 5 days to Boiling Springs. And then, and if it happens to be 6, ends up being more than that, that's okay, because I have plenty of food. If I wasn't walking into Boiling Springs, I probably wouldn't stop and resupply there. Somebody said it was expensive, but squirrel. I think it's a squirrel. Maybe a bird. I don't know. Anyway, I don't see it this time. And I'm gonna fall on a Friday when I walk into Boiling Springs if I do it right. And so I'm kind of considering taking a 0 over the Sabbath. But there isn't any churches in Boiling Springs. So I was kind of disappointed at that. That the one time I will be in town over Sabbath, I won't get to go to church. But I guess the next 14 miles out of Boiling Springs don't have very much water, according to, I don't remember, somewhere I read. So maybe what I'll do, instead of doing a 0 day, maybe I'll just slack pack it, and then just do that 14 mile slack pack. And that'll be something different, and it'll just be me and a really light pack, and I know I'll have a lot of miles, but if I get started early, then that's okay. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see when I get there. I may be desperate for a 0, and that's just what I do. But that's the plan. 5 days to Boiling Springs with way too much food. But that means I can eat all I wanted, all I want. I knew I had enough food, but the last 4 days since I started on trail, I haven't been eating enough. Part of that is probably because I am very goal oriented. I'm like, I got 8 miles to do. I got to do 8 miles. I got to do 8 miles. I got to do 8 miles. And I don't take the time to stop. A couple times I just wanted to get out of the shelter, so I didn't eat breakfast. And I have got to do better at that. Just eating snacks all day long is not going to get me the nutrition that I need to keep going. I really wanted to get a salad while I was in town today, but I didn't. And so Boiling Springs will definitely need to be a salad. I did get like I said, I did get a sub, and so I have veggies on that for today. But I do need to make sure that I'm getting more greens in my food. So yeah, I guess that's it. I think I've got 8-ish miles to Tumbling something Springs. Shelter today. Maybe it is Tumbling Springs Shelter. I don't know. Anyway, about 8-ish miles today. And when I get there, we'll see what the next shelter is and whether I want to go on. I know Fog and Hoppy, we're going to go there tonight, and so it would be nice to hike, to camp with people that I know. But part of me is also, let's push the miles. But then again, I also have a really heavy pack, so I probably am not going to want to push the miles. Mileage today was elevation today was kind of all over the place. Ups and downs and ups and downs. I think a total of about 1,000 miles or 1,000 feet. And if that's over 8 miles up and down, that's not so bad. It's when it's 600 feet of elevation in 1 mile that you're dying. So we'll just kind of wing it as it goes. I have 2 liters of water, and I already drank half a liter or more before I left the hostel last night or this morning. And so I already have to pee. That's just kind of the way it is. I already pooped in Pennsylvania. Ha! Dug a cow hole and had to take care of that right as I got to the Mason-Dixon line, so that was fun. So took care of that. And then, yeah, it's just going to be a day of peeing a lot, I think. And part of that is because I did not drink nearly enough yesterday. I think I did almost 10 miles on 2 liters of water. And water and food, taking care of myself, water and food are going to be my biggest challenges. Because I get so goal oriented in getting to the next place. So Yeah, I got to do better than that today. I'm not even sure where our water supplies are. I wasn't sure if that was a creek or if it's the wind, and honestly, I'm still not sure, but I think it's mainly the wind. But anyway, I guess we'll get after it and see what today brings. I don't have a lot of power, so I do need to kind of limit what I'm doing, and keep that to a minimum, but we shall see. Here is the up of the day. It doesn't seem so bad, but yeah, I hate up. But look at this beauty. Isn't that pretty? It's flowing pretty good right now. I don't need water, which is good because the climb down there would be a little steep to get back up, but and they gave us this beautiful little bridge to walk across it. So that was cool. Hey guys. So I made it, I'm only like a mile or so from the shelter where I'm staying the night, or I plan to stay the night. But came across this beautiful creek. So I thought I'd show you. Hey guys, so I made it to Quarry Gap Shelter. It is a nice little town. It's got the bear box sitting over there. It's got a couple of tent pads. The privy is up that direction. It's got flowers everywhere, the benches. It's two little shelters with a covered picnic area in the middle and a swing. This thing is so cool. Yeah. Again, I'm here alone. I was at Tumbling Run. Tumbling Run? I think it was Tumbling Run. Last night by myself. And I'm here at Quarry Gap so far by myself. So far I've seen chipmunks and a mouse. And I thought I heard a raccoon. I could be wrong on that. I'm not up on my raccoon noises. But I thought I heard a raccoon. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping somebody else shows up. Because it is kind of lonely out here. But I have been able to talk to my husband both nights. And so that really helped. It was, I think, 12.3 miles today. It was rough. There was about 2,100 feet of elevation, and I hate elevation gain. I can go down, I can go level, but going up slows me to more than half. I hate elevation gain. And there was a lot of it today. So it was really rough. The last 4 miles just seemed to drag. Like, I can do 8, no problem. But once I get past that, my body's like, yeah, no, we're done. And I'm like, no, we're not. So tomorrow's going to be even worse. I've got 13.6 feet of elevation, or 13.6 miles. I don't remember exactly how much elevation, but it wasn't as much as today's. It seemed more gradual up and downs instead of straight up and downs. So hopefully that'll be better since I have 13.6. The one after that, I get to Pine Grove Furnace State Park. And I was really looking forward to some ice cream. But I think they're going to be closed because it's not May yet. And everything up here seems to open in May or after Memorial Day. So I may or may not get some ice cream. But if I don't get any ice cream, then I'll stop at the general store, which is like the next day. I was also hoping to charge my battery. But if they're not, that might be a problem. And if it is, I'll just end up going into town and doing hosteling early to charge my stuff. But I am trying not to hostel as much. But I really like to hostel because it's a lot more comfortable. But finances say don't hostel much. So we'll see. Yeah, I already had supper. I had mashed potatoes and roast beef and a cheese stick. And it was really good. I was going to have it for lunch at the Rocky Mountain Shelter. But it was like 0.3 off trail plus another 0.2 to water, which I would have needed to make food. And so I skipped it and kept going. I didn't eat nearly enough food. I usually don't, unfortunately. And my water, I didn't drink a lot of water, but my urine was clear. So I guess it was fine. And I'm sitting here eating snacks, trying to get them out of my pack. Because my pack is heavy and I'm tired of carrying it already. And so I need to cut down on the food that I have.
Oh, looks like it's gonna rain again. Okay, time to shift back. But anyway, that's the update for the day. Bye. Morning, guys. So it is 6:51. I am probably a quarter mile away from the shelter I stayed at last night. I was by myself again, which is fine. I mean, it'd be nice to talk to people every now and then, but since I have been messaging Chapter every night and calling him, I'm okay. Granted, that does mean that my battery packs are already a little low, and I still have 3 days, so I will have to find a place to get some, power, or I will have to get off trail and go to a hostel to charge everything up. I have plenty of food, so that's not an issue. I have way more food than I need still, but I definitely need to be able to talk to Chapter every day, or this is not going to work for very long. So, yeah, I've got to figure that part out. I do go past, what is it? Pine Grove Furnace State Park, which I think is supposed to be the half-gallon challenge one, but I don't think they're open yet. I'm just hoping that they will have power somewhere in that park, and if so, I can get that tomorrow and be able to keep going with my plans. Otherwise, I may have to get a shuttle into a town somewhere, at least long enough to find some power and get shuttled back, but we shall see. Today is supposed to be a 13.6 mile day with 1,600-ish feet of elevation. A lot of it first thing off the bat. I don't know about a lot of it. There's like 600 or 800 of it right off the bat. So, I mean, I guess that's one thing. Get it done while I'm still fresh-ish. But I still hate elevation. My legs still feel pretty weak. I definitely don't have my trail legs yet. And it says it's 55 out here. But I'm not sweating yet, but I know I will be soon. I went ahead and put my umbrella on because it's wet and stuff is still dripping off the trees. So I just don't want to get myself wet. Of course, if I do, then maybe I'll be dry all day or cooler all day. I don't know, but yeah, that's what we've got going on today. There is a shelter somewhere around the 7.5 mile mark, and I will stop there for food. I don't know if I'll do snacks there or if I will actually make some food to get it out of my pack, but we shall see. It also depends on how far off the trail it is, because I'm not adding another half mile or mile to my day, so unless it's right on trail, I won't be stopping to cook, because 13.5 is going to be bad enough without adding more miles. So we shall see. I'm going to try to get, I think I have water at 5 miles, and I have 2 liters with me. So I'm going to try to get as far as I can before the heat hits. It is supposed to be up to 90 degrees today, so it is going to hit. So I'm just hoping to get as much as I can done before it warms up and before the snakes start coming out, because I get super paranoid at that point. So anyway, more up. Here we go. The trail is very pretty this morning. Very mossy and stuff. Too bad it's up. But it is pretty. Hey guys, look at this very beautiful, shaded, wide trail path that would be amazing to walk if it wasn't for the amount of freaking spider webs across this path. I am literally doing this to try to avoid hitting the stupid things. Snakes and spider webs. Those are my 2 kryptonites, and I've been running into spider webs all morning long, and I am done with spider webs. Yes. Okay, here we go.
One of these days I will remember that if you actually want to take a video, you have to push the button. Or that you can't be on photo when you try to take a video. That doesn't work either. Anyway, I have 5 miles to go to the shelter. And it's only noon, which is good. I'll get there at like 3 or so if I take my time, which I probably will because I got nothing else to do. Tomorrow I'm supposed to get to, I think it's Pine Grove Furnace State Park, but I think it's closed. So no ice cream for me, sadly. I think either yet that day or the next, I'll have to look again. There's a general store that's like, I don't know, not quite half mile off trail. And if I can't find battery tomorrow, I'm going to have to get, or if I don't get some electronic battery tomorrow, yeah, then I will have to stop at the general store the day after. I'm hoping the Pine Grove Furnace has outlets somewhere, but I don't know. Yeah, the rest of today's walk should be fairly easy. There's only like 250 feet of elevation, and it's spread out over 5 miles, or almost 5 miles. So I didn't look like there was any really big ups left for the day, so that's cool. And I'm feeling pretty good. It is hot, and it is only supposed to get hotter. I think it's like 78 right now, and it's supposed to get 90. We'll see if that happens, but the sun has been out quite a bit, but there's also been a pretty decent breeze, so I'm hoping that between the two it'll continue to be okay. I may throw my umbrella up, but we shall see. But yeah, 5 miles to go into the shelter, and I think there's supposed to be a creek down there, so I may soak my feet for a little bit this afternoon and figure out where I'm going to get power tomorrow. Spend some time doing that, so hopefully I'll have some decent signal so I can call chapter as well. So anyway, that's the plan. We'll see how it goes.